Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, and the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. Here, where are we? Callaway, just back from a golf game. Excellent. We got some good weather this weekend, finally here in Montreal. It's still cool, I don't know, we're in the middle of June, and the summer is just is playing hard to get, let me tell you. By the way, yesterday afternoon I had a kind of a firm activity with all of our staff, and we went to play pickleball. I don't know, you guys ever played pickleball? I used to play tennis, my wife and I both, when we were much younger. Now the knees are kind of giving us more difficulty. I can't speak for my wife, she's lots of energy, but in my case, in any event, I'm a little overweight, so tennis is a little harder. But I tried pickleball, and let me tell you what a workout that is. And you know, it's easy, right? You don't have to have a lot of talent. It's a very light ball, and we just went crazy, and the whole firm, we had a mini tournament, lots of fun. I think I lost 15 pounds, I gotta tell you. Great workout. So we had fun yesterday, and you know, we went out for dinner, and everybody was happy. It was a Friday afternoon. We decided to take the whole afternoon off. Everybody invited to play some pickleball, then some dinner, just a few refreshments, and you know what? We had a good time, and my golf game was really nice, both yesterday and this morning. Good weather, so everything's looking up. Now, what's happening in the Fountain Pen Therapy studios? Well, I've got, again, a great show for you. Got some variety here, got different things to look at. So without any further ado, welcome to Fountain Pen Therapy's weekly recap for June the 15th, 2025. Okay, so first segment, what's new in the market? There's a couple of novelties, but again, fairly light in terms of novelties. There's not, other than rehashing the same pen with different colors and different materials, etc. But let's take a look first of all at AliExpress and the Chinese market and see what's going on there. Okay, so let me go to my overhead camera. First thing I want to point out, I think I would invite you to take a look at AliExpress and take a look at some of their paper and notebook products. I am very impressed so far. I got to tell you, I've ordered a couple of notebooks, no name, you know, not necessarily any type of brand or any type of known paper. Completely unknown, and I've been very impressed so far. I've ordered this one in the red version. I don't know what's gonna, come out of it. It's an A5 notebook. It doesn't give you more specifications, but stay tuned. It's an attractive looking notebook, so I figured for $16, $17 Canadian, I'd give it a go. When I get it, we will review it and we'll see what's all up. So that's one thing I would take a look at. But take a look at more paper products. You might find notepads, all kinds, leather covers at extremely, extremely competitive prices, at least here in Canada. Next thing, I saw this brass pen. This must be a kind of, I was, wondering how long it would take them to kind of, this is a kakimori nib, of course. It's the same concept. And this is, it has it in titanium though, and then different brass. This titanium is tempting me. However, it's $51.38. I got to compare it to the real thing. I'm not sure it's worth our while. There is another one. Is it this one? No. Let me just... Here it is. This one attracts me, but again, $69. But it's that Kakimori nib, or type nib, but on a little pen, or on a mini pen, which makes writing a little more, a little bit easier. So, for those of you who are in the market for a dip pen, that's something you may want to consider. Next, what have we got? Oh, there's a bunch of titanium roller balls. Now that I've been interested in roller balls and I look for them, take a look at this one. Very interesting. Made out of titanium. There's another one here. Another EDC. You got some made out of Ultim or made of I guess it's titanium of different types. What else? There's another one right here. So this is kind of a, that latch. Very nice. So if you're in the market for ballpoints, especially if you or roller balls, you should take a look at that. That might very well interest. Now, in terms of Chinese, what else do we have? There's, of course, the C80, and I should have maybe started with that. This is Amazon.com. They're going for $26, different colors. Asvine reached out to me, and they're supposed to send me 2 of them. I haven't received them yet. I think I ordered this, not this blue, okay, and this green, if I'm not mistaken. So I should be getting that soon. So that's .com, $26 on the Canadian site, Amazon.ca. They're $39, but they're both available on Amazon. Whereas the Asvine C2000 seems to be exclusively sold through Etsy. One of our viewers, I believe is an American viewer, told me that they're gouging him for transportation, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So the C80 is there, and if I get it, during the weekend or early next week, it may very well be reviewed next week. What else have I got for you? On Peyton Street, if we move away from Chinese pens, Peyton Street pens, there's a couple of Conway Stewart pens that you may want to take a look at. They are always difficult to find, and some vintage that may be interesting there for you. So there you have it, especially this one here, the Stewart 27. It looks very, very nice. That's that. Casa Stilografica. I noticed there's a new TWSBI Echo coming out. Come on, let's go. Why is it not going to the page? Here we go. No, that's the Lamy. That's not what I wanted. I want this one. Maybe it's not out yet. Yeah, it keeps referring me to Lamy. There's a mistake there. But it's this new new TWSBI Echo, which looks very interesting. It's coming soon. It's got kind of a different cap there that I haven't seen. I think I saw it also on Goulet Pens. This is Goulet Pens. Got some new inks from Noodlers. Raven Black. That looks interesting. There's also some D. Atramentis new inks in the brown shades here that may be interesting. And he's got a bunch of Opus 88 pens. Now, I've got a lot of those pens, so I'm not going to order another one. But those of you who don't have an Opus 88, take a look at this. This could be very, very interesting for you. Then there's this Delta Italian songs. Now, what Nino's come up with is pens dedicated to Neapolitan songs. And I think they're exclusively being sold at Goulet Pens, which is unfortunate for me. Let me explain, because Goulet Pens has decided, in their wisdom, and I totally disagree, I don't know what he's doing there, he's not selling in Quebec. Now, we in Quebec here have language issues. Is it because of the French, English, and the packaging, or is it because of the transportation, the customs? I don't know why he's not selling Quebec, but he's not, which is most unfortunate, because I have to reach out to Nino. I'm going to pick one of my favorite song pens, and I'm going to say to him, you've got to sell me one directly, because this is ridiculous. I would love to be able to get one of these, and that's why I think Delta differentiates itself from Leonardo. Leonardo is always the same pen. Very rarely do you get a new design. Beautiful materials, novel materials, but same pen. Whereas I think Delta is going a different direction. They've got completely different styles, dedications, theme-driven pens, which is like the old Delta. That's what they would do. They would get a theme and create a pen for it. So shout out to my friend Nino Marino. There you have it. Do I have anything else to mention? Oh, I noticed that on Stilo and Stile, they have a bunch of Gravitas pens. So for those of you, I'm interested in this one right here, the Ultimate VAC. I might go for this. I'm not sure yet. It's in my list, but, we've got priorities, so to speak. So so there you have it in terms of what's new in the market that I wanted to raise with you folks. So stay tuned, and we'll proceed to my next segment. Okay, so for this next segment, what's up in the Fountain Pen Therapy studios? Well, as usual, we'll start with some paper. We'll take a look at some inks, take a look at some pens, and proceed to the next segment. So let's start with the paper, will you? Over at camera. The paper I propose for you today, it's not a newly acquired paper. I decided that I have so much paper and so many notebooks that I need to resurrect a few and just maybe introduce them to you, a little bit at a time. This is the ATOMA series, okay? Now, originally what I used this ATOMA series for, and let me show you, it comes in either this kind of a grid. Do I have a... No, I don't. Okay, but I could... Let me just take any one. As you can see, there's a grid with the two title lines. Then there's a grid in the middle here. Some spacing, and then kind of a to-do list. I think that's what it's meant to do. It's probably a meeting notebook of some sort. But what I used it for is every time I would receive a pen, I then replace this with something on my computer. But I would, describe the pen, indicate the nib, and then do a quick writing sample and just my thoughts on the writing itself, and give it kind of a little bit of a rating, if you will, in terms of the pen, the nib. At that point, I also indicated what kind of a filling system it was, and kind of an overall, whether it is a go-to pen or not, etc. So that's what I used it for. When this thing is full, there's also a larger size. I think this one I have not filled up. Have I filled it up? Oh, yes, I did. I got rid of my A5, then I used my A4 for the same reason. Here you can see the grid a little bit more. But this could be very, very interesting for somebody who wants to keep track of their pens, kind of do their own. So as you can see, I have plenty of pens, hundreds and hundreds of pages. Then, of course, what I did is I transferred all of this to a data system on my computer. And that's where I'm keeping track of the pens now, which is a little more convenient because it's alphabetical. You know, you can look at the pen, you can search it, whereas in this particular case, you almost have to know, you know, go through page by page. So it wasn't very convenient, but I had fun doing that in any event. And what I propose to you today, where we'll do our ink swatches, is this other version, which is a lined version of that same paper. Okay, so that's the paper, folks. Stay tuned. I'm going to set up. I'm going to show you the inks that I'm going to propose for you guys today. Okay, so I'm all set up. In terms of the paper, you'll note that the paper, first of all, these notebooks are very convenient because you can buy the paper and the loose leaf and kind of insert it. They have this kind of a roller system. In and out, and you can remove the pages as you wish, so very convenient. I wish they had something like this for ATOMA River. I do have something like it where I buy loose sheets and I punch the holes, and we'll take a look at some of that perhaps in the future, but this comes already, you know, pre-packaged, so to speak. So there you have it. So the paper is somewhat coated, very much thicker than the ATOMA River paper. For sure, and but it's not as smooth as maybe Rhodia or Clairefontaine, which I find is very, very coated, or Marimian. So there is some texture to this paper. So so that's the paper. And the base is going to be ATOMA River. Okay, so let me just get to the page in question. As usual, we'll use ATOMA River as a kind of a baseline, if you will. Okay, so there you go. Fair enough. In terms of tools, my folded pen. Many of you have asked me where I buy these things. I'll put it down in the description. You have different sizes. This is my preferable size. Yeah, I also have two other sizes, which are these ones much thicker, much bigger. One of my viewers suggested to me a video that shows us how to actually make a folded pen, which is convenient. But I'm not a kind of a, I'm not very handy, so I take the shortcut and pay for it, I guess. In terms of the inks, okay, now the inks, I should have introduced that before, is I got 4 PBS, pen BBS inks for you, okay? They go by number. These bottles are wonderful, by the way. They're nice and big. There's lots of content. What is it, 60? Yeah, 60 milliliters. Nice big opening, so you don't have a problem with any pens. Very deep. And I've got a to propose for you. I've got a blue, I've got a violet, I've got a brown, and I've got a green ink, and they all go by number, except for the blue. The blue is called Santorini, but I think they even have a number. It's number 1. I can't see, 128. Okay, so those are the 4 inks I propose for you today. The reason why I chose Pen BBS is because I've got a Pen BBS pen that I just received, so it's kind of appropriate. I want to ink up that pen with the Pen BBS ink, and I figured why not resurrect 4 other inks. I've got plenty of these, so we can look at all of them eventually, just a bit at a time. Okay, so why don't we go ahead. First one will be the brown. Nice brown color. Okay, so we're gonna have to fit 4 here, so we're gonna have to be careful. We're gonna do it this way. That's 1. Very nice brown. Very nice inks. Got to tell you, very, very nice inks. The pen I'm using, this is a Moonman. I forget what number, N1 or 1S, I forget. It has what looks like a glass nib, but it's not made out of glass, it's made out of plastic. So it doesn't work as well as glass, I find, but nonetheless. Okay, so this is pen BBS, and it's as simple as a number, and this number is 269. That nib does very well for a plastic nib, I gotta tell you. So, okay, one down. Okay, we'll tap that closed. Let's try not to get ourselves all dirty. These are all non-shimmering inks, and I'm kind of given up on, or did I speak too soon? We shall see. I don't believe this violet is a shimmering ink. Okay, so beautiful violet, dark. These are great inks, all of them. So this is pen BBS, and this violet is a number 95. I'll just ink it up a little bit more here. Yeah, this plastic version of a glass pen is not bad at all. I think you can find some of this particular version on AliExpress. But that Kakamori imitation, I guess I would call it, that I just showed you in the earlier segments, may be also an interesting variation for us. I'm going to decide whether or not to buy that. I like the fact that it comes in kind of a small pen form, but as I mentioned, I find the price a little bit gouging there, so I'm not sure. This is the green. Go. Nice green, very nice green. So, whoop, not comfortable in my writing stance, and this is number 157. Not bad at all, this nib. I find it actually writes better on this ATOMA paper than it does on the Tomoe River one, for some reason. Come on, do I have enough? Yes, barely. There you go. That's the green. And we'll finish off with Santorini, which is Santorini being the Greek island. As you would have imagined, should be a nice blue. Oh, been to Santorini, and I can tell you, that's a good depiction. Let me just move that so I can write. Okay, here we go. So this is pen BBS, and the number, it does have a number, but I forget what the number is, but in any event, it does have a name, so let's give it the name. Santorini. They probably all have a name, and it varies from vendor to vendor. Found all these inks on, I believe it was AliExpress recently, but I had purchased them earlier on through a Chinese site. But I've had these inks for several years now. And they come in different sizes as well, I believe now. So there you go. Just a very nice selection of colors here, and great inks. Nice flow. None of them are really dry. Very nice. And I'm looking forward to inking our new pen with that Pen BBS 269. So there you have it. That's the ink therapy for this week. Let all this dry up, and we'll come back for the next segment. Okay, so we're back with the inks, and I'm just not patient enough. The ATOMA River is taking a very long time to dry up, but not this. I keep ATOMA or Atomic. I keep forgetting what the real name of this paper is. It's ATOMA. First of all, I wanted to show you how it appears, how these inks show up in ATOMA. For sure, you don't get the same, performance in terms of sheening and shading, but very nice. You can see the brown. The purple does have some of the black-brown sheening there. There's some of the darker shades in this green. You could see some shading. In the Santorini, it come out pretty standard and pretty flat, if you will. But and as you can see in the ATOMA River, these inks have a little more character in terms of shading and sheening, and especially that Santorini, you got it. It doesn't show up on the camera, but you got some red sheen all over this ink, as a matter of fact. But nonetheless, three very beautiful inks. So there you have it. That's the ink swatching therapy for this week. Okay, for the next segment, I want to show you what Fountain Pen Therapy Studios received this week in terms of ink, writing instruments, and in terms of maybe other accessories. Yes, I did get another accessory, and I want to show you. We'll start off with that right away, if you will. Okay, let's go to my overhead camera. Okay, what you see here is a very nice bag. This is the first time I've received anything. Anything. It is a notebook cover, leather cover, that I received it in this kind of packaging. Most of the time it's just in bubble wrap. But this was very well packaged. First of all, it had a nice card, a certificate of conformity telling you the color, the fabric being used, etc., specifications, which I find very nice. It came in this nice cloth kind of cover, and it was enveloped with, nicely wrapped with some thin paper, wrapping paper, and then bubble wrapped, and then in a box. So I got to tell you, I was very impressed. I was not expecting that. I bought this on AliExpress. very, very reasonable price. And here it is. Here it is, folks. And it's already getting some patina. Very nice leather. And what I find that this notebook has, which gives us some flexibility, I wanted to show it to you. First of all, on this side, it has some cutouts here. The cutouts, I guess, the card was in there to put some cards if you wish to put some cards. And it has slots on both sides, so you can put in regular notebooks, or you can slot in a notepad like I've done here. So you can see that the notepad, and I was looking for a cover that could accommodate notepads. And then this one, to my great surprise, can accommodate just a regular, it's A5 by the way. So just slot it in, and it's big enough to accommodate two fairly big notebooks. Fits fairly nicely. It's got an elastic, so you could close everything down this way so it doesn't open up on you, which is also a nice feature. Find the elastic nice and big and sturdy, and it doesn't interfere with sometimes the elastic kind of bends the cover out of shape. There's also a nice pen. Let me just get a pen here. Loop, which can accommodate, look at this, I mean, this is my Asvine and has no problems. It's even too loose, so it can accommodate all kinds of pens. If it's a thinner pen, you can get it to clip down, and if it's a thicker pen, then you can fit it at least. But there you have it. Look at this. I'll put the price up on the screen to see what's the most recent price, but it's not expensive at all. Now, it does have a tendency to scratch. It is kind of cowhide, I think it is, they call it. But having said that, I think that's fine. I don't mind it. Looking forward to them having, I think it's a sale, and they only have this brown for now. But if I'm going to keep an eye out. I would love to get a green or a blue, and so there you have it. I think this is fabulous, really fabulous. It comes recommended. I think it's a good product for the price. So there you have it. So that's the accessory I had for you. Now let's look at writing instruments. What writing instruments have come into the fountain pen therapy studios that I'd like to highlight? Well, here they are. Let me just close up. Okay. And I'll describe them. Of course, you have my Asvine C2000 Ebonite. What a beautiful pen this has turned out to be. Shanghai Knife Dude pointed out, and rightly so, that this does resemble the clip of the P139, as it turns out. So there you have it. Now they're copying each other. Do I have a P139? Not too far out. Let me just see here. I don't think so. Do I have a P1? No, I don't. But yeah, so I think rightly so. Anyway, it resembles it, doesn't it? Then this thing you haven't seen yet. This is the new Pen BBS 556 that I got. It comes in different colors, and I was tempted by that blue Galaxy color, but I have so many blue Galaxy. I said, you know what? I like this kind of semi-transparent look with the little, swirls of brown, really with the gold trimmings. Typical Pen BBS clip, nice center band. It is a piston filler, as it turns out. So there you have it, and we will do a detailed comparison and a detailed review of this pen, along with its nib, just to see where Pen BBS is situated. But long time that I was waiting for a Pen BBS offering. We finally have one. So there you have it. I'm not going to ink this up because I'm going to keep it for my review. So stay tuned for that. Probably during the week I will publish my review. Then in that famous box that I found this. This is a is it a Faber-Castell? Yes, it is, a Faber-Castell. Faber-Castell pencil. It is a .05. We'll see how long that lasts in my hands. I usually require a nib a lot thicker than that, or the lead. But it's a little bit scratched up, a little bit beat up here, I noticed. Don't know why, but that's a nice Faber-Castell pencil. I must have bought this 30, 40 years ago, I think. There you have it. And I've resurrected a roller ball. This is a Jinao. Would it be an X350 or an X450? I forget now what number this one is. I always liked these colors. They came, of course, as a fountain pen or as a ballpoint or a roller ball. And this is a roller ball. So this, we will do some writing samples when I'm going to put this in my weapons for next week, both this one and the pencil, and we'll take a look at that. So there you have it. That's what I've purchased this week. These are the new pens or the new writing instruments that we will go for during the week. This Asvine 2000 is just fabulous. As I said, we will put it in my pen case and we will do some writing with it just a little bit later on in this recap. So those are the new writing instruments, and we will be right back with the next segment. Okay, as so often happens, you're taped to show, you got your pens all set that you want to show on the recap, and then just a few hours later, there's a knock on the door, and these two Asvine pens have arrived. So why don't we do a quick unboxing and see what gives. First of all, I always have a hard time opening these Asvine boxes. I find it works really nice when you use your, there we go, 1 and 2. Okay, that's one of them. Whoop. Come on, let's go. Doesn't want to come out. That's unusual. Why doesn't it want to come out? Okay, here we go. That's nice and tight. Asvine, what could it be? I think some of you know. I put my cappuccino aside. There's one. Regular boxes, not going to review that. And there's two. Let's start with this green one. Yes, folks, it's the C80. Beautiful, beautiful resin. I think the pictures on some of the websites don't do justice to this pen. Very, very nice. Take a look at the chatoyancy on this resin. Wow, a big number sized 8 nib, but silver. I don't believe I have I think all the other ones that I have are gold. This one's in a silver color. There's some blue in there. Very nice. And this is a medium. So that's number 1. And this is the blue. Wow, this blue is really, really nice. Yeah, I think a previous reviewer mentioned it. You see, it's going to be hard to kind of get these things to line up because on one side, there's a lighter, so I got to figure out how to get it to match. There's got to be some way, but I don't really. Actually, this may make a difference because, let me see, if I started completely behind, will it come back? Not even. If I started front, will it come back? Not quite. Almost. But very nice chatoyancy on these pens. me see. I think this is the 1.1. Yeah, this is the 1.1 stub. Silver colors. Very nice resin. This is not going to have a drying issue because there's no clip to speak of. It's just an ordinary cigar shape. First thing I think you need to note is how big this pen is. Let me just see here. I want to put it aside. Yeah, if I compare it to the Asvine C2000, it's almost just as big. And this is a huge pen. Here's one of my Viziers. Almost the same size. Yeah, this is one of the Viziers. This is the, with this special resin. Okay. But it's almost the same size as the Vizier. Take a look at that. Very nice. Especially for the price. I think they're going for like less than $30, these pens. So there you have it. 2 more Asvines to the collection. Now, how can you beat this? Less than $30, very nice resin. You got a number 8 size nib. It's not a piston converter. This is just an ordinary cartridge converter. But still, how can you beat this? It's difficult to beat, folks. Very nice pen. Fits in. It's got a nice little flare. We'll review this in detail. But there again, very nice. So, wanted to show you 2 more pens to add to the pen haul for this week. There you have it. We'll continue the show. Go on to the next segment. Okay, for my next segment, we're into currently inked. What did we have this week? Well, here are the 11 writing instruments that I used the week. I had 12, and which was another ballpoint, and I've left that at the office, so you will forgive me for that. One thing I wanted to mention about the ATOMA notebook as well, it comes with this divider and ruler kind of a thing. So here you have it. It divides your page, and that you can simply snatch off or use it as a ruler as well, which is very convenient. So forgot to mention that. So let's use this ATOMA paper and see what gives. First of all, I had my Aurora Talentum rollerball, which I found in that famous box. Beautiful. Yeah, folks, and I've come to the conclusion that for me, the most comfortable pens are the ones that have a little bit of a flair. It's amazing how you've been, I've been writing for now years, and you never really consciously realize certain things. Let me just close up here. But very nice. This is the rollerball. Yeah, so I do appreciate those flares. Very nice, but it just doesn't beat. It just doesn't beat a fountain pen, unfortunately. Okay. Then I threw in, I had the Napolitan series here. I had, you'll remember from last week, I chose a bunch of Napolitan pens pens from Napolitan pen makers, with the exception of 2. This is one of them because I had received it during the week, or during that weekend. This is, of course, the Asvine. Wow. It is so juicy, folks. Especially, this has the Ongdian bluish gray ink, which is just fabulous. And my nib has just a little bit of an italic feel to it, a little bit like Sailor, that pencil feedback. Now, is it because the nib is slightly off? Maybe it is, but you know what? I'm leaving it as it is. I'm not touching it. What a beautiful writing experience. This is my Delta. This is the modern Dolce Vita, if you will. So this is the Delta. Kind of my red pen for the week. think they call it the DV 2.0. It's got the 1.1 stub. Just fabulous. Had a lot of fun with this pen. This was probably the pen that I used the most. I'm hoping there's still some ink, just because of the grind I have on that pen. It is a medium italic. So this is a Gioia, one of the most underrated partenope. Yeah, underrated pen makers of our times. You know, it's got that Italian pen flair and quality, frankly, but without the price. So this is a medium italic ground by Stilo e Stile. Yeah, this is the other intruder, I call it, that's not by a Neapolitan maker, but this is the Vizier, I believe, Twilight, which I will be I've reviewed, will publish sometime soon. So this is a Vizier, I believe it's a Twilight. Cellulose acetate material. It has a medium Yowo nib. Very nice writer. Used it all week. Now, some of you always say, well, wait, how can you use all these pens? Trust me, I manage, I have long days, and I switch up. It kind of resurrects my energy. I feel like I put a different pen in my hands, and I'm ready to go, so to speak, and for another hour. This is the Leonardo Furore. I think it's Furore Grande. I keep saying that. I should check. Probably the Leonardo I appreciate the most. Maybe it's because it's got a different shape other than that Momento Zero shape that kind of getting bored with. There you have it. So we're on to the next page. Okay, let's just flip that over. And oh, by the way, I don't think I showed what, silly me. I'll do it now. For that ink swatching, look at the other side. A little bit of ghosting, just a little bit, but very similar to the ghosting that I got out of, that I'm getting out of the Tomo River. That Santorini could be a nasty one. It went right through. So, sorry about that. I should have mentioned that earlier. Okay, let's go to the next page. Keep going here. This is the Leonardo Momento Zero. And this is the Sorrento. Beautiful town off the Amalfitano coast, where I was born, in fact. Place to visit, folks. Put it on your bucket list. Beautiful, beautiful town. And from Sorrento, which is a little bit bigger, it's not an island. It's, maybe a half an hour train ride from the city of Naples. You could use that as a base, Sorrento. Nice town, lots of hotels, lots of restaurants. Very, very beautiful. It's on the coast. And you could use Sorrento as your base, and you can travel to Amalfi, to Positano, to Capri, to Ischia. Boat rides around, every day boat ride early in the morning, stayed the whole day on the various islands or destinations, and then come back. So I recommend it. This is the Mayora. There is a lint in that nib that I can't get rid of for some reason. And this is the Amalfi. So very nice with a 1.5 stub. This one I didn't use that much. Another Mayora. Oh, this one's running out of ink. Let me just see. No, it's got plenty. Kind of dried up on me. So we'll prime it a little bit. Just let some ink flow. We should be okay. So Posi, I don't know if it's two L's and two P's. Posillipo, which is the rich part of town of Naples, up on the hill. Which, when you overlook the round coast of Naples, you can see the volcano. You can see Vesuvius. This is the Gioia. Capodimonte. Again, this one's got a special grind. It's got a medium italic as well. So get a little bit of line variation out of a Yowo medium nib, which is always fun. And this is the Gioia Alaria. And it's a special edition. I think was it a Pen Chalet exclusive? I forget. Yes, indeed, folks. The Neapolitan masters have done it again. They have given me some fountain pen therapy for the week, so to speak. So there you have it. And on this notebook, yeah, as it turns out really nice. This ATOMA notebook is just another notebook to keep track of. There you have it, folks. We'll be right back with the next week's weapons. Okay, so we're back with my weapons for next week. Now, keeping up with the theme, given the recent release and receipt by me of this brand new Pen BBS 556, what I figure is that it will be Pen BBS week. So here's my Pen BBS. I mean, there's a few missing, but just because they didn't fit all on one tray. But this is essentially my Pen BBS pen collection, if you will. We start out with the 495, quite a nice pen. This is the 2020 annual dedication. This is the one that has that funny magnet. Why is it repelling? Here we go. To kind of go up and down, and it hardly works. But anyway, I thought I showed you that. I like the nib. I may use that nib. So that's the 2020. This is a 355. And again, I invite you to take a look at the size of the 556 in comparison. There's two 355s, the new one and the older version. This is the Cardarite 491. Here you have two 480s. I love this beige one. or ivory looking one. These are the 480s. The one with the little cat here is the 486. One of my other favorites is this plunger at the 456. Here is the subject pen, the 566, the one that we just received. Here you have two versions of the of the 266, I believe. Yeah, 266. They're supposed to be the same, but you can see there's a difference in size. This is an older version, and this is kind of a special edition, 263. I have two 323s. In fact, I have three 323s. It comes in this kind of sharper acrylic, this ordinary acrylic, and then it comes also in aluminum alloy. This is the 500, and just one of the bigger pens. This is that double-sided. It comes, I think, with a roller ball on one side and with a fountain pen. I've put in two fountain pens, if you will, on both sides, but you've got two ink reservoirs. Then, let me just see here. Now, I've lost track. This is the 487. That's correct. That's the 487 in this Nagano acrylic. This is the 499, a recent. I think this is probably the last Pen BBS pen that I bought. This is the 309, an older version. And then you've got this kind of a pocket pen version, which is, I believe, the 471. You screw it in this way, and then you have a functional pen, so that's the 471. So there you have it. That's my Pen BBS collection. Now, we will choose, 9 out of these. This one definitely will form part of the gang, so we'll take away the 566 right away. I'll come back with what I've chosen, and we'll do some writing samples. Okay, so I've made my choices, and let's just zoom in. Use this ATOMA paper. First of all, as I mentioned to you, this is the pencil that we're going to use this week. This is a Faber-Castell. Whoop. Is there any Faber-Castell mechanical pencil that doesn't appear to work because the nib may not be any nibs, so I'm going to have to fill it up with nibs. Apologize for that. Should have checked that before. Anyway, the Faber-Castell pencil. This is the Jinhao rollerball. It's actually got Jinhao, not the greatest refills. Don't like it, but we will keep trying. The intruder for this week again is going to be this Asvine 2000. I just love this pen. So we're going to keep it in the mix. God. Oh, I forgot the C. It is such a great writer. Do you hear that? Beautiful. Okay, next. Okay, here are the choices. First of all, this, what is it, 266? Yeah, 266 in this checkered pattern. Now, it doesn't have its original nib. It has one of these lemon nibs. Let me just see how this writes. So this is, whoa, it doesn't start very good, does it? I just inked it. That's not good. Let me just wet it a little bit. I did ink these pens without washing them first, so that may explain things, but here we go. Pen BBS. What did we say? 266? What all these numbers? So this is the number 266 in the brown checkered. And it's got a lemon hand polished, what I believe is a medium. Very nice nibs. Okay. Yeah, because otherwise I got, just I think a few I've changed the nibs on, because otherwise we get the same pen all the time. This is an original Pen BBS fine nib, not the new ones. And this is what, the $4.99. It's got a fine nib. And this is the number $4.99. One of the few metal pens that Pen BBS has done. There's the fine nib. A little bit of a spring to it. See, this thing writes. Always have difficulty inking this pen up, and I always end up inking it via like an eyedroppering it. And there again, that's the main defect of these pens, is that feed. Oh, let me just see if I could. It's not focusing, but the feeds kind of, they squish on you, the fins. Why doesn't it focus? The fins are very fussy. This is a calligraphy nib, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the, again, yeah, this is the one I've eyedroppered, so it hasn't quite descended yet. Okay, here we go. Pen BBS. This is what, the number 500. One of my favorite pens. Yeah, this is one of a calligraphy nib, which is kind of an architect grind. That's why you get thick and thinner. Oh, it's actually thick both ways. No, it's just like a ball. Funny looking nib, but very smooth. Very, very smooth. This is the 480 that I've chosen in this Galaxy Blue. Again, let's hope all these pens... Okay, here we go. You see, it's very dark. What did we say, 480? Yeah. Because it had ink in it, or remnants of ink, and I just inked them up with the Santorini, but it's not coming out. And this has a... Yeah, this is the new medium nib. So that's a nice one. Yeah, I didn't flush all these pens out. I have a tendency to do that sometimes. I just ink them and go. This is the old fine. Yeah, this is an old Pen BBS. Very smooth nibs. Kind of stiff, but sometimes you get a little spring in them. This is the number 355. And it's got a fine nib. They're not my favorite. This kind of skips a little bit. I prefer the medium, and even the medium is pretty fine on these Pen BBS. But we raved about these nibs at the time they came out. They were so novel for Chinese, but they're no longer in the same league. I haven't used these Pen BBS. Look at the fin on that. It's all squished. Pen BBS 323, I believe. Yeah. This one's got a lemon nib. That ink is coming out really dry. I didn't think it would have been this dry. But we'll see if it comes out dry. This is the 456 and this is medium. Yeah, it's just the nib. This is the number 456. This is a vacuum filler. And this one has the new medium nibs. Gotta tell you, the Chinese nibs have come a long way. Now, as I mentioned, we used to rave about this pen BBS because it was so novel. But now all of them, Majon, the number 8 nibs, Hongdian, Asvine, Wing Sung. I gotta tell you, I'm not sure about these pen BBS. This is a number. What number are we here? 495. This one's a good one in terms of feel and wetness. It's the new medium nib. Again, that green ink, it could be the green ink that's drier than I thought. Sorry about that. I have just dry throat. I had to take a sip of my coffee. Yeah, this is probably the nicest of all these nibs, except that calligraphy nib on the 500. And this, of course, is the new one, which I will not ink up because I want to review the pen first. So we'll probably put in that brown ink, though. That looks good. So there you have it. That's going to be my sorry about that. There we go. Just get the camera adjusted. So those are going to be my pens or my weapons, as I like to put it, for next week. There you have it. Stay tuned for the next segment. Okay, the next segment is going to be YouTube review. What do we got for YouTube? Well, I'm going to recommend to you, and it's going to take a little patience on your part, but trust me, I think it's worth it. Especially if you're a fan of Aurora pens or Aurora nibs. Let me just go to the overhead camera and I'll show you my computer. The site is Circolo Stilografico Romano, so it's an Italian site. And recently, the site has put up a series of YouTube reviews by a gentleman by the name of Ernesto Casciato. Do you see this right here? You see the arrow. And he reviews all of the nib choices from Aurora. And he's got great calligraphy. He's got an excellent handwriting, shows you the difference. For example, this one takes a look at the extra fine, fine, and medium from Aurora. He has an Aurora ATOMA. He inks them up and he does some writing samples and he shows you the difference between those three nibs. If you keep going, you see there's several reviews. In this one right here, let me just go back here. This one, you see the arrow. No, sorry. Where are we? Where are we? It was there. And now it seems to have been misplaced. Just bear with me. That's the EF. That's the Asvine. Where is it? Here it is. This is the gotcha. You see the my arrow is pointing right here. These are the gotcha nibs. So gotcha nibs are a little bit like, I guess, a sort of an architect grind where you can get different variations depending on the angle of the pen. And he's got an extra fine, a fine, and a medium, but in that grind. Then he reviews, here he reviews the italic nib from Aurora. Okay. And the italic, it's just beautiful, by the way, the italic nib. Then you keep going. Here he reviews the broad and double broad. Keep going down. Here he has the italic versus the stub. Okay. And that's essentially it. So he does them all. He does them all. Extra fine, fine, medium, in both the standard nib or the gotcha or the drop nib, the kind of architect grind. Then he does italic, he does the stub, he does the broad, and he does the double broad. When you see these videos, you'll understand and appreciate why Aurora, in my opinion, is one of the finest pen makers in the world, and certainly amongst the best in Italy. And just because of those in-house nibs, and that's why I've been telling, if Nino Marino does this project, as he, from what I understand, is planning, I don't know what stage he's at in terms of his planning, and if those Delta pens can get in-house nibs, they'll blow everybody away. For sure, 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 sure. So there you have it. Those are the ink reviews or the YouTube reviews that I really want you to take a look at. If you want fountain pen therapy, the way this gentleman writes, his calligraphy, and how he compares the nibs, if you can get the translator going, at the same time, so there's an English voice over it, you'll understand what he's going through. Very fine, fine gentleman, Mr. Ernesto Casciato. Okay, so there you have it. In terms of my own reviews, well, you've got last week you have the Asvine C2000 review and my recap. Take a look at those, putting them up on the screen. Please, the recap, you can enjoy them 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months later, full of information, different pens, different inks, different paper. So there you have it from week to week. You'll be able to enjoy that. For this week, I'm not sure what I'm going to publish, but I've got a feeling that that Asvine C80 or the Pen BBS 556 might be the ones, one or the other, and perhaps both, we'll see. And then, of course, here's my collage of all the other ones that are still waiting, including the Vazir Twilight. They're going to be waiting on the sidelines, so to speak, until we get some of these Chinese pens out of the way, or we'll finish those first, since they're a novelty, they're brand new. People are anxious. People want to know. And I know those videos do very, very well. Thank you very much. So there you have it. So that's for YouTube reviews. Be right back. Okay, we're back. Q&A. I've got some questions and answers, Q&A from the last week's recap that I'd like to review with you folks. So without any further ado, I'll go to my overhead camera and I'll show you exactly what I've got in mind. Okay, first thing, this is a notebook, okay, that some of you asked me about. Bought this on AliExpress, okay, soft cover, very nice. It's got kind of a backbone here where you could put your pen, not a very thick one, but some of the thinner ones. I don't know what kind of paper this is, but I can tell you that it's very nice. Thank you very much. And some of you asked me, where did you get that paper? Where did you get that paper? Well, here it is. I'll put it up on the screen, and you'll see the price as well. And take a look at how it writes. So this is at the same time, we'll take a look at this Asvine that is just blowing me away. This is the Asvine C2000. And some of you asked me about the ebonite, about the feed. Is this ebonite? Folks, unless somebody can confirm to me that it is, I believe it's just plastic. It's not ebonite. Okay? Second thing, a lot of you asked me about the drawing issue. Some of you realized, I think for the first time, that the previous version of the Asvine, which is this one here, the stable wood, had an issue with dry nib. But the dry nib issue was taken care of because Asvine came out with a gasket. There was, if you look down deep into that cap, you see that black dot there? Well, that's a gasket. It didn't come with that plastic gasket, so it's just like a topping, if you will. There was a hole there. And because of the hole there, the air just went right in there, and you have a dry nib issue. So you could purchase those little gaskets, which are just little plastic or rubber stoppers, if you will, that you could insert in that hole to stop the leakage. Okay, so that was the solution for these stable wood. And this, I mean, there were several others. Before they came out with that, people came out with their own solutions. Now you could see the same gasket, but it's even better installed. It's factory installed, so it's flatter. It's really, really in there. So I suspect that the sealing in these new ebonite pens are even better than the fix for the stable wood. So I know most of you are aware of this, but some of you were not. So I thought I would address it. And this paper, again, I don't know what type of paper it is, okay, folks, but I've ordered another notebook like this because I'm going to be using it. I really enjoy the paper. It's not overly coated, but it's thick enough to avoid any major ghosting. Very, very nice paper. And got a nice divider here. Page. There you have it. Very nice. So some of you wanted to see what this notebook was all about. There you have it. It's got several pages. On top it has memo and date. Nice red color of the pages, and you can get different colors. So I thought I'd mention, shout out to this paper. Chinese, prices up on the screen. Something very nice. Another question again, where did you get your pen trays? Two sources. Okay, let me just go to my camera once again, and my computer. Two sources. The first one is Penn State, $17.95. I don't know how many trays you get for $17.95. Let me just see here. 4 large trays, with each tray featuring 24 slots, and each slot 3/4 of an inch wide and 12 inches long. You get a 15% off on your first order. It's got all kinds of other accessories as well. That's the first. So Penn State Industries. I will put the exact email, the exact website address in my description. The next source is GoPens. The advantage with GoPens is that, again, there's 24 slots, is that you can get different colors. Penn State only has this gray, but whereas GoPens, you've got red, you've got a dark green, a blue, a burgundy, and a black. And the price of this one is, do we have prices here? Trays start at $8 each for individual purchases. Please see the price list and order from here. So the price list, do we have okay, here we go. If you order 1 to 10, it's $8 each. If you order 11, it's $7.50, and so on, and so on, and so on. So you've got Penn State and you've got Go pens. There may be others, but those are the two that I wanted to mention. Okay, folks, that's it for this week. That's it for this week. Yes, sir. Stay tuned for my video this Thursday. It's going to be maybe that pen BBS 556 or maybe the Asvine C80s, those two pens that Asvine sent to me, or maybe something else. Stay tuned. It'll be a surprise. It's one of the ones that I just showed you, that's for sure. If you guys have not subscribed, please subscribe. It'll help the algorithm and it'll help and encourage the channel. Thank you very much for that. For those of you who are regular viewers, thank you for all your support. You make this happen every week. I enjoy and love doing it, and getting a response from you guys is what keeps me going. So thank you very, very much. Buona settimana. Have a very, very nice week. Enjoy the weather. Here, winter is gone. Spring is about to be completed, and summer is slowly creeping in. So we'll enjoy some weather. There you have it. Take care, folks. Have a great week.